Hi guys, here we are, MMA UK News. Stoomboy as always, MMA UK BJJ show. So talking about SGI10. SGI10 is going to be Saturday the 7th of May. So we're only, 17, 18 days out now. So we're getting closer and closer to the time. So it's going to be Glasgow, Maryhill Community Halls. Now, anybody that's ever been at a previous SGI or an Evolution of Combat or any kind of combat sports event at the Maryhill Community Halls, they'll see that the atmosphere is unbelievable. It's got the tiered seats all the way around. The fans are on top of the action, or spectators are on top of the action, which makes for an unbelievable night. I liken it to the Roman Colosseum. So if you remember the Roman Colosseum, the warriors used to come out, people were on top of everything. So it's a modern day Roman Colosseum. So it's going to be great as well. We're going to have the very first ever pay-per-view on the night as well. Now, the last 9 events have been leading up to this moment. So obviously this event and this card is the perfect chance to have pay-per-view available at it. And we've been hearing a little bit about the pay-per-view from Paul. Obviously, the guys that are doing the pay-per-view are absolutely unbelievable. So it's going to be a great night for anybody sitting at home watching the event. So tickets as well, also still available. So anybody looking to get tickets to the actual show, head over to Scottish Grappling, go through their booking system and get your tickets directly from them. Make sure if you are coming to see a specific fighter, choose that fighter's name, because the fighters are getting a bit of commission from the sale of each ticket. So it's always good to get some money for doing something that we love. So as I say, my next guest is going to be on the show that night. So another fellow Mustang. I love chatting to us older, distinguished gentlemen. So Paul Browne of Team Ryano in Dublin. So Paul's going to be up against Shaiz Khan. An under 75 kilo matchup, which I was thinking Shaiz Khan under 75 kilo, but yeah, he's making it. He's making it. So it's going to be a great night. It's going to be a great matchup between these two guys. So, Paul, listen, absolute pleasure, buddy. How you doing?
Good to see you, man. How's the farm? All good?
Yeah, all good, buddy. All good. So you're looking well. You're looking healthy.
Yeah. Training's going great, and I'm feeling great. So I'm today is good. So stage there about 2 weeks ago where it was like that turning point where you're just sort of right before everything starts coming together, where you're just like beaten up and worn down. But then the last couple of weeks fantastic, really good hard training over the bank holiday weekend.
Yeah,
good session today. Getting excited now. I'm competing next week as well as the week after in Scotland. So I got lots on my plate now in the next couple of weeks. So I'm really getting pumped for it. You know?
Nice. And obviously the older, I mean, they always talk about the older people get, they slow down, but obviously that's not the case with you. I mean, you're still training hard. You mentioned about before we came live on air, you obviously went through a Shark Tank earlier today, which Shark Tanks are always lovely. Anybody that doesn't know grappling, when we talk about Shark Tanks, so a Shark Tank's where you're the guy in the middle, guy, male or female, in the middle, and everybody has a round or 2 rounds, and they just keep coming at you until you can't go anymore. So Paul did one today. Tell us about the Shark Tanks. Always enjoyable, Paul.
Because like that bout in Scotland's a 10-minute match, isn't it? So it's like, you sort of gotta. Yeah, it's difficult because I'm competing the week before in the IBJJF Dublin Open, so the shorter matches, and they're going to be very different. It requires a kind of a very different mindset, because it's like they're always 5-minute the master matches, and one score and you're in trouble. One score against you, it's you get a lot of guys who are very good at shutting you down after getting that advantage on the board or score on the board. Whereas a 10-minute match, no points. It's about going for the kill, doing it at the right moment. So. Yeah, been kind of mixing up the training with different styles, shorter rounds, longer rounds. Today was fresh man every 3 minutes for like 12 minutes, So that was fun, And we do, we've been doing a good bit of that on our Wednesday session over the last few weeks. So, body feeling adjusted well to it and feeling good. So I'm excited.
Yeah. And one thing as well, I mean, you mix up training, not just jiu-jitsu, but obviously you do strength and conditioning as well. So tell us a little bit about that as well, Paul.
Yeah, well, I do that I coach for a living, so and it's a big help kind of in the situation I'm in, because when you get to a brown belt level, opponents become a bit thin on the ground. Now, when you're masters, and I'm master 3, so I'll be 44 this year, opponents in that division are usually non-existent. So you always have to either move up a weight class or drop down to master 1 or master 2, which happens nearly every time. I think Shaiz is a few years younger than me as well. So it's like, it's nothing I'm not used to, because you just have to be you have to maximize that side of the game, to go and compete. So it's usually the case when I compete all the time. Funnily enough, at the Dublin Open next week, some of the brown belt divisions are sparse as usual. You might have the Masters one, you'll only have 1 or 2 people. But my one, for some reason, now has 5 in it. So I'm fucking delighted with that, Just out of the blue, a load of guys just registered. So delighted now. And if I can get through one matchup, I'll have another one there waiting for me and that kind of thing. And it's rare that you get a kind of a decent sized bracket. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks. And the strength and conditioning definitely helps, because if I do get through the first round of that comp next week and I end up having 2 or maybe 3 matches and maybe even 1 or 2 more in the absolute division, I mean, I could get beaten, could get tapped out in the first 10 seconds, so maybe none of that will be relevant. But if I do, it's going to be a long day, and having a good aerobic base and having a good strength level and having your body just in decent shape and fairly resilient is handy, because you've got to recover and go and fight someone for 10 minutes a week later. You got to prepare sensibly, and you can't leave things to chance. You were saying there, Shaiz is coming down a weight, so he's possibly going to be big, strong. I presume he's going to be a very big, strong guy in the handful. So, I mean, I've been mixing up training a lot with. I trained a lot with heavier guys. Like, our gym is the Shark Tank. Like today, like a lot of those guys bigger and stronger, and it's nothing I'm not used to. I'll often go in there and be one of the smaller guys on the mats, and then we've like 50 black belts in that one gym. So you can go in there as a 74, 75 kilo brown belt. You could be the best belt. Do you know what I mean? Like, it can be tough. So yeah, you got to look after your body as well as just doing jiu-jitsu. I've learned over the years, rather than just kind of overtraining or running yourself into the ground on the mats. It's playing the long game, keeping the body happy and healthy, and keeping the joints happy and working properly. That's the main thing,
Definitely. And we see a lot. I mean, obviously, people in jiu-jitsu now or in grappling, especially, they're mixing it up with different things, whether it's strength and conditioning. Obviously, you've got some people out there doing CrossFit. You've got people out there mixing it up with, do you know what I mean? Because before, it used to be people would do jiu-jitsu and it would just be jiu-jitsu they would do. They wouldn't really do anything else unless you were like MMA fighter or so on. But a lot of these young kids are now wrestling, they're now doing judo, they're sambo wrestling, and they're mixing it up with a lot of different things, which is making the talent out there now so much more special than what it was certainly 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Oh, big time. Yeah. Like, the level of some of them coming through is crazy, And even in our club, like, our club would be quite, it's an MMA kind of club, a very long running and established MMA team with guys fought everywhere and anywhere. We have a guy making his UFC debut this weekend, so nice. We'd have talent in all of those kind of different disciplines coming through at our. It's great to see. And competition. There was a competition in Dublin just the weekend. It was at a Grappling Industries, I think, and loads of the younger guys, teens, kids, the white belts, the blue belts, all getting out there and getting loads and loads of matches under their belts. Great to see, Yeah. So and it's good to just still be able to kind of keep up and go along and lead from the front a little bit with it, because a lot of those younger guys did look up to a lot of us, and we still compete. We've guys in our gym that compete at every year at purple belt, brown belt, black belt. All of us older guys. We've a great school of older grapplers in our place, like real dad's army type of vibe. We're kind of like. We're like the Crazy Gang, the Wimbledon football club from years ago. We're kind of like that, and we're a bit nuts, a bit off the wall. You need a thick skin going in that door, but everyone is still on the mats and still beating the crap out of each other. So it's fun. Wouldn't change it for the world,
I love it, man. I love that stuff. I love it because, especially the older grapplers, obviously me being an older grappler myself, I love it when we're out there representing. Because obviously you're out there representing Team Ryano, but also at the same time, you're out there representing us old guys to show that we've still got some years in us. So we've still got some oomph when it comes to rolling about in the mats, competition, in the gym and stuff like that. And do you ever get it in your gym where some of the younger guys, especially like my gym, when I go to the gym, the younger guys are like, "Oh, you're the old guy. We're going to do this. We're going to do that." And then you just need to show them, look, I might be old, but I can still fuck people up.
Yeah, you got to put manners on people sometimes, you know. It has to be done. You can't let them away with too much shit. Like,
Yes, it's all love though. They do it out of love. They definitely do it out of love. So, and then what about you then? SGI10. So, how did you find out you were going to be on the card that night, then, Paul?
all right. With the last one that was on, a couple of pals, Andy Chapman, I think was on. Was it the last one he was on, or maybe the one before that? And he was going over. I think Browne with Kieran Browne was on the same one. They're both sort of. They don't train in the same club as me, but they're affiliated teammates on either end of the country. We train a lot with pals,
Yeah.
you know. So they were heading over. So I was like, Jesus, you know, and we're just coming back out of the 2 years of like the fucking apocalypse or whatever happened there, and you know, you're able to get back competing. So I was kind of just chasing a few competitions and matches, trying to get registered for a few things. So I messaged James looking for a match, and they didn't get someone for me or whatever. But he obviously just kept me details just in case. And then he mailed me out of the blue there that was going to offer me a match. And I was like, yeah, it's happy days. That sounds good. And then look at the card now. We've got Browne headlining it. We have we've a good few Irish on the main card. Dylan Nooney and Grace Collier on there. They're both excellent to watch. So it's shaped up pretty nicely now. You know, we've a nice little Team Ireland going over. So that should be cool. Should be good fun.
Yeah. We've got Stacey Sloan as well, obviously white belt European champion, obviously blue belt at the moment. So Stacey, I know that her opponent pulled out,
Got a
injured
new one,
shoulder.
didn't she?
She's got a new one today, yeah. So so we're going to see Stacey on it. I was buzzing when I spoke to Stacey as well, because Stacey, just chatting away with her and just hearing obviously that she obviously had a knee injury just coming up to the end of the second lockdown, and then she's managed to get that sorted. So it's been a couple of years since she's been out there, and this is going to be her kind of introductory match back into the limelight. So we're looking forward to seeing that. And then the young kid, Eamon McElhinney of obviously Limvady as well, Team Ryano. So
he's very good, yeah.
Yeah, Andy's been telling me a lot of good stuff about this kid. So we're looking forward to seeing him as well. So so yeah, it's going to be Team Rhino's represented well as well. So there's a few. I think there's about five maybe. 5 or 6, 5. So so yeah, well represented.
Yeah, the team is flying at the moment, even through all the different affiliates. Like Browne's club is down in Cork. They're really kicking into gear. You had guys competing there at the weekend as well. They're building a great little team. And
oh, so we just think his internet's
you know,
playing up there a little bit. There we go. We got you back.
We're back. And obviously, in our main place, HQ, we've got Dean making his UFC debut this Saturday. We had James Sheehan just had a massive win on Cage Warriors. With Cage Warriors signature performance. Now it's going to really stand to him going forward. And we've lots of good MMA fighters. We just it's just hitting into a nice little groove there, because we had a period where we had a couple of guys in the UFC and at Bellator, and then there's a little lull, and you're just waiting for the next wave of guys to come through, and now it's all kicking into gear. So it's nice to be stepping out there representing the badge. Yeah, it's something to do till the body won't allow me to do it anymore. I've been with them since I was a white belt, and
yeah,
it's been a long road, and I just it's great. You know, it's great to be able to just like I said, get out and just be a good example to all of the other guys coming through the ranks.
Definitely. And then obviously we talked about the commentating as well. So obviously you're now into commentating as well. Obviously, and again, you did a lot. I mean, we were talking there off air, obviously judging and so on. So you were well involved within the martial arts scene in Ireland. So and now obviously you've stepped into commentating. So tell us a little bit about that, Paul.
Yeah, I've been involved in the MMA setup over here, like as an official, like a judge and a rep over the last few years. You know, we did our qualifications a few years back under Mark Goddard over here, and kind of working with IMA, the Irish Mixed Martial Arts Association, and doing lots of officiating there at various shows. And then I landed into at the last Chaos Grappling show that Andy Chapman ran up in Derry. He asked me to commentate on the live stream. So that was really good fun. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And then out of the blue, friend who does the commentary for a lot of the MMA events and MCing, he just basically knocked it on the head. He has too much going on. He couldn't do it anymore. So I sort of threw me hat in the ring for that, and now I've sort of landed myself with those jobs. So recently, like there was a weekend recently where the Saturday I refereed at Grapple Kings. The Sunday I was emceeing and commentating on an MMA event. Then the following Saturday I was doing the same. So a hectic couple of weekends under the belt recently, and I've got my diary is just starting to fill up now for the year going forward. So thoroughly enjoyed it because like years ago, I used to play music for a living, so I've no problem being on a microphone, and I coach groups and stuff, so I've no problem standing in front of a large group of people and just, I wouldn't be like shy like that. So standing there with a mic and having to like bark out what's happening and introduce fighters and stuff. The other week I did it in a packed arena. The place was lifting off the roof. Local hometown girl was making her professional debut in Tala in Dublin, and the whole place was full from the first prelim bout. So like, the atmosphere is kind of off the wall here when the main card starts. So when I was out there kind of introducing the fighters, it was like you could feel the goosebumps, you could feel the walls vibrate. And she won her home debut. She knocked the girl out, and oh man, it was like fairy tale stuff. So I've landed sort of into that, and like I'm commentating on the live stream in between, like on the rounds and stuff. It's great fun, really good. Working with some good people. Working with Sean, who's running the live stream for this show this weekend. You guys are thinking of buying a pay-per-view, you're in for a treat because his direction is fantastic. The cameras, the quality, it's beautiful. Like we're commentating, and you'll see it this weekend. He has this big screen with all the different monitors in front of you, and just the shots are just amazing, and the direction is great. Talking through the whole process, but you'll really enjoy the experience, So if you're sitting on the fence but buying the pay-per-view, check it out. It's going to be really good. That's my sales pitch there for Sean. He'll have to buy me a scoop after the matches this weekend.
No, listen, we're buzzing, absolutely buzzing for the pay-per-view because, as I say, we've had 9 shows already. And what's happened is over the years, obviously, it started off, obviously SGI1, and then it's just built up. And over the last kind of few events, we've had, well, not just a few, but the whole 9, we've had some top grapplers on there. And obviously, the only time you're going to get to see them is if a friend or a member of family or someone in the audience is recording it on the phone. So that's when you got to see it. So now, obviously, they've looked at it and said, well, look, we need pay-per-view. It's now getting to a point where we're having all these top grapplers from all over the UK and Ireland on the show. So,
and every show is doing it now, seemingly. Like all the grappling events, all the MMA events, everything seems to have a live stream now, which is great,
Yeah. No, it's good. It's going to be brilliant. As I said, I'll be commentating. I'm going to have a co-commentator with me as well. So they've not been announced yet. So we're going to wait and see who my partner.
So it's classified.
Yeah, well, we'll wait and see who it's going to be. So we've got a comment coming in. David Bull, SGI11. Yeah, just said Stoomboy versus Levi. Now, this, just to give you a rundown of what this means is, for years, this guy, Levi, he trains out of, in fact, I don't even think he trains jiu-jitsu anymore, but he was always calling me out, saying, I want to fight you. And I'm like, why? So it's been going back and forward, the two of us.
Now, fight or grapple?
Grapple, yeah. So grappling. And then, so this has been going on for years. So I think they had an SGI set up. He pulled out. Then he had another one set up. Then he pulled out again. And then, so he keeps pulling out. He's a choke artist.
So,
but he's as he's given up. He's a really nice guy, though. I mean, he's a really, really sound guy. One of the proper gentlemen of the grappling scene in Scotland. So, but he doesn't do jiu-jitsu anymore. He's into powerlifting. So, he lifts like fucking big stones and I don't know, some whatever weightlifters do. Like, this guy's heavy. I think he's about 160 kilos now. So, but he's a big unit of a boy. So yeah, David, that'll not happen. So, he'll need to come out of retirement first before he comes at me. So, but yeah, you never know. Maybe SGI 15, SGI 16. If he's ready, then tell him to come see me.
That's a lot of weight to cut.
It's yeah. So he's going to need to cut a fair bit of weight. But I mean, if he does it, then we'll see. So, and then what about you then, Paul, for the rest of the year? So obviously 2022, it's going to be a big year. Obviously, we've not had, you mentioned obviously the apocalypse that was the last 2 years, which was an absolute nightmare. So 2022 is going to be the first full year of everything, competing, training, and so on. So what would you like to see yourself doing going forward 2022?
Yeah, well, obviously, like I said, my diary is kind of chock-a-block now with commentary and MCing gigs. So, I'm doing like some kickboxing, some MMA, and I even got called to do a bare knuckle event. So that's going to be a great experience.
Yeah.
I'm going to fit in as much competing as I can as the year goes on as well. So there's plenty of tournaments coming up here. The schedule over here is looking like it's flat out. Everyone is ramping the shows back up as well, which is awesome to see. So there's plenty of options. I definitely want to do more grappling invitationals, which is harder to get matches on when you're like an elf art, but get the right opponent. I think Andy Chapman's running one now toward the end of the year, and he's getting me a match. That's
November
cool.
time, so November.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be on there. Probably double jobbing with the commentary as well, so that'll be fun, And I don't know if there's too many more of them. I'm going over to England with the Grapple Kings crew. They're running the show in England. They're running the sort of Team England against Team Wales?
Team Wales, yeah. So Neil Atkins versus Ash Williams.
That's right, yeah. So Adrian was actually judging on the MMA event I worked last week or the week before, and he said, look, come on, we'll all go over the weekend. Yeah, crack the events. So, happy days. That's going to be cool. That'll be a good experience. And then they have another one on as well. They're doing Grapple Queens, which is I think September, October. That's
September,
yeah. Yeah, so the women's BJJ scene over here is electric at the moment. Like you've seen, you've got Rosa Walsh. Obviously, is probably the standout there. She's over with the Daisy Fresh crew at the moment, and Rosa's just an absolute killer.
She doesn't look like she's want to come back. I don't know if you've seen any of her videos. She's over there.
Her Insta story is just Rosa flying off somewhere. To kill a lot of people, fly off somewhere else to kill a load more lads, and she's just beating lads up. It's great, she's brilliant, Rosa, and I'd be really looking forward. I'm hoping she's on that card. Obviously, she could easily be a main eventer on that, And there's a lot. I mean, we've a good gang of. Our club is quite male dominant, but we've got a nice little crew of women now training in our place. And I've been on to them. We get matches on that show, and let's get out there and represent. I think that occasion is going to be a nice landmark occasion for the sport in Ireland going forward. It'll be a great thing to point at and sort of twist other women's arms into joining the sport. And then at the end of the year, then they've got their big one where they're going to have Team Ireland won the first semi-final, and the winner of this team, England and Wales, is going to be competing. I think that's December, so that's going to be a great way to close out the year. And like I said, I'll just sprinkle in as many comps as I can in between those. And any L lads out there watching here and you're under 80 kilos and you fancy a muscle, just let me know. I'm crap and no gi, but I'm a bit less crap with a gi jacket on. So that's why it's hard to get matches on grappling invitationals. Not many people want to watch a couple of L lads and gis rolling around for 10 minutes. But we'll try and make this one now in a couple of weeks. We'll try and make it exciting. We'll try our best. There's no stalling for advantages and no scores. So I think we'll both be going for each other. So it'll be a bit of fun.
Nah, I'm sure you will, as we're going to love seeing it. We're definitely going to love seeing it, as I said. It's going to be a great event as well. I mean, as I say, there's a lot of different styles on show. There's going to be judo, some high level judo. I mean, some really, really high level judo. Obviously, a lot of wrestlers are going to be on the show as well. Again, some high level wrestlers, people who train in like the Great Britain team or the Scottish wrestling team, and then obviously good old jiu-jitsu is going to be on display as well. So it's going to be an interesting night. It's going to be something for everybody on this show, which is it's always good to see. It's always good to see. And then, what about you then? Obviously, you've been in the game for a number of years. So I'm pretty sure, obviously, you've trained with a lot of people all over. But anybody you want to shout out to? So any friends, family members, teammates, anything like that?
Main one would be the coaches. The boss, Andy Ryan, legend of the sport over here. He's over in Vegas at the moment with Dean, getting ready for the UFC this weekend. But Andy's always great there. He's a shoulder to cry on, and he's a top man, So we're all sort of representing his name, his badge, and big shout out to Andy for all he's done for us over the years.
Yeah.
Steve O'Toole, who would be one of my main coaches up in the club, he kind of does some of the daytime sessions, and Steo's like he's like a featherweight black belt. He's like one of these sort of Danaher types that just has like a photographic memory. So if there's a position or anything you're unsure of, he just has 8 different options for that, and they're readily available. Just ask him. So Steo puts a lot of work in with me, and he always has done since back when the blue belt. So a big shout out to Steo. Bill McCann as well, our wrestling coach. He's a wealth of knowledge. You know, he was up in one of the affiliates there today, I saw on social media, teaching a wrestling class for a lot of the teams up there. They're on their kind of school holidays. So yeah, some great coaches, and you know we've a great family vibe in the club. So shout out to all the Team Ryano gang, and yeah, hopefully get another W on the board now for the club.
Definitely. Definitely. And then just got a last comment coming in, Eamon McElhenney, who we mentioned earlier, Team Ryano Limvadi. Looking forward to seeing Browner bump and roll. See you both soon. So,
oh man, Eamon.
Definitely
Eamon's on the card. Yeah, Eamon's fighting as well, isn't he? Yeah, deadly.
Yeah. Great kid, as I got a chance to speak to him a couple of weeks ago, and yeah, awesome kid, man. Awesome kid. Great future. We talked about these kids coming through. He's definitely one of them that's going to have an absolutely brilliant future ahead of him. So, so yeah, looking forward to seeing him Saturday, 7th of May. So, so guys, there we go. We've got Paul Browne, Team Ryano in Dublin, going to be up against Shaiz Khan of the Grip House. Going to be under 75 kilos. So we'll see how Shaiz gets on. Hopefully, he stays away from that pizza. So, but I'm sure he will. I'm sure he will. So, Saturday, the 7th of May. Going to be Maryhill Community Halls here in Glasgow. So tickets for the event are still available. Head over to Scottish Grappling, head over to their booking system, and it will then allow you to buy your tickets. Again, choose your chosen fighter just so they can get any commission off the tickets if you're coming to see them. Pay-per-view is going to be awesome. Paul's already told us a little bit about it. So we're looking forward to seeing the pay-per-view as well. Again, all the details on there for the pay-per-view. £10 for a pay-per-view with this amount of matches and the level that's going to be on the card is an absolute bargain. So make sure you do get that pay-per-view as well. So Paul, listen, absolute pleasure chatting with you, buddy.
It's great, man. Thank you very much. Looking forward to seeing you over there. Having a good time over there. It's going to be a great weekend.
Definitely. Listen, good luck at IBJJF Dublin. So
yeah, could be a busy day, or it could be a very quick day, but hopefully it's a busy day.
Yeah, but listen, good luck to you. As I said, I'll be looking out for the results for you. As I say, fingers crossed for you, but I'm sure you'll do brilliant, mate. It'll be good. It'll be good warm up for SGI.
Yeah, it's good timing, because when James asked me if I wanted the match, I was looking at it and I was thinking, that's grand, yeah, because I just have to get in shape once then to compete twice. So that works fine for me.
Definitely. Well, listen, thank you again. Paul, enjoy the rest of your training, all right?
Nice one, dude. I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Buddy. All right.
All right.
Take care, buddy.